Hey guys, Lord here, back in with another action figure review of the Senile Fuck 2-pack starring prototype and or concept Spawn, aka good old Al Simmons, and the Todd father himself, Mr. Toddy Mac, Todd McFarlane. This, of course, is brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. And for those of you wondering why I called it the Senile Fuck 2-pack, it's an inside joke. There's at least one person who's going to think it's hilarious, and that's all that matters to me. That said, we're going to cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all these two have to offer in terms of accessories, because there's actually quite a bit. Now, we're going to get the boring crap out of the way. You come with a collectible trading card, which does have a bio, quote-unquote bio on the back, just kind of giving you a breakdown of the history of McFarlane Toys. Nothing to bust the reader out for, however. So, we're going to spare you that. That said, the prototype and or concept Spawn does come with a pair of alternate hands here. He's got a fist hand and a, well, it looks to be a Spider-Man thwip hand, which is kind of hilarious because we all know Todd McFarlane worked on that for a minute or so. I mean, he only created one of my favorite characters of all time, Venom. So, I guess that makes sense. That said, Spawn also comes with the same necroplasm bullshit that we're used to seeing in the Mortal Kombat line. I would have liked some different necroplasm effects, or maybe even, just maybe even, some reuse of some of the stuff from the Spawn Universe line, because I don't have doubles of those, like the ones that come with Sin, or the Disruptor, aka Jason Wynn and Cagliostro. I would have liked to seen those necroplasm effects in the box instead of these two. I would have took all four of those again, because those are pretty bussin' necroplasm effects, if I do say so myself. Now, as far as the Todd father goes, he's got a pair of open hands, which I could take or leave, to be honest with you. I would have preferred another grip hand and a fist, but whatever. He does come with a hand with a little pencil or a pen in it, which is removable, but I'm not taking that out. He does come with a peace sign in, which I didn't know he was known for doing that, but alright. And then he comes with probably the funniest accessory, a pair of shoes. I believe these are the same shoes from John Constantine, because this Todd McFarlane is a Frankenstein of reused parts. But if you notice, he's got bare feet, because Todd McFarlane, God bless him, is known for walking around the office with bare feet. But then again, if you watch all those backwoods TV shows where those quote-unquote redneck folk hunt down venomous snakes, lizards, and frickin' alligators in the bayous of Louisiana and whatnot, a lot of them are barefoot. And I don't think being barefoot in the office is as dangerous as being barefoot in a land filled with poisonous and venomous reptiles that could fucking kill you. So, you know, he does come with a pair of shoes. That said, my John Constantine, I think, had a loose foot on this side. And this is not very loose. It is a little bit, but it's not floppy like his was. So I might swap these onto him, just cuz. But they do have the toe joints, and they are easy to swap if you want to do that. He does also come with a microphone, 2 turntables and a microphone. No two turntables though. And then he does come with a sketch pad with this Spawn drawn on it. Now, it should be worth noting, this is a version of Spawn we have never seen before, so we're going to actually move Toddy Mac out of the way, because this isn't the first time we've gotten him in figure form. I don't have the original one, but I do know of it. But here we go. Here is Spawn, prototype Spawn, concept Spawn, whatever you want to call it, Spawn. It's a hockey puck display stand we've seen with all McFarlane Toys releases. I don't know if they're different. I'm guessing they're relatively the same between the two. And For those of you eagle-eyed viewers of the channel, might know that this is the Martian Manhunter body buck from the DC Multiverse line. I don't have that figure handy. Both of mine, the Rebirth and the Classic version, are in storage, but this body buck recently made the rounds in that overpriced as hell, mind you, Crisis on Infinite Earths Monitor collectible wave. It was used on the Spectre. I don't know if it was used on Psycho Pirate or not, but I know it was used on the Spectre. That said, speaking of reuse, this cape that Spawn is rocking here, I would not be surprised if we see that on a Mr. Miracle, or is it Dr. Impossible? Or Professor Impossible? I forget the other version of Mr. Miracle, but I think at some point we're going to see that, possibly as a Target Gold label or something, so I guess keep an eye out for that, because this body buck I think would work well as a Mr. Miracle figure. Almost forgot his name for a minute there. But despite the fact that it is a little short, mind you, it is on the short side. I think Toddy Mac's actually taller than Spawn here, which is odd, because Spawn is a pretty big dude. Like, no bullshit. He's like a 7-foot motherfucker. So, with that being said, as far as articulation on this body buck goes, it's been a while since we looked at it. His big bulbous alien head, because yes, he's an alien! Like Tudo from Oliver and Company would say. His big bulbous alien head can look up, can look down, it can tilt side to side and rotate and all that good stuff. Pretty decent range despite the shape of it. And very Spider-Man in the face there. He doesn't really have the green eyes and shit going on, so that's very different for Spawn. Shoulders go out to the side pretty far. They go back down, they rotate forward and back. He's got that butterfly, so you do get a little bit of play out of that. He does have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, decent crunch on those. This is not one of the better bucks as far as how the joints are cut, but the range is decent nonetheless. He does have the ball hinge wrists that do work just fine. He actually doesn't come packaged with both grip hands. I think the left hand was the fist, if I'm not mistaken. So he comes packaged with the fist and the grip hand. That said, it should be worth noting his cape is only glued onto the front, which is surprising to me because I think the Martian Manhunter was glued all the way around the neck. So it's very interesting. That or mine came unglued, but I don't see where that could go. So I kind of wish this cape was glued down back here, but because you can move it up, you can take advantage of what little torso range you get, which ain't much, son. It's not floppy loose on mine, but I did have to heat it up and pop it apart and put it back together to get it to really not be... So be mindful of that. It is an old buck, and I don't remember it being particularly tight before anyways. Because remember, the Martian Manhunter figures, they had those straps going across the torso. They kind of help pinch things together and keep them tight. So the upper torso is a little loose, but not terrible. He does have a waist twist, though. That works pretty well. That's nice and tight. He does get a little crunch out of that. Not a lot of crunch out of this body, though. This is not a lot going on there. But it is the double ball peg that I do like. When it comes to my McFarlanes, I do prefer that joint build the most. He does have standard McFarlane style hips. You can kick forward and back and kick out pretty well. I think he's got a decent thigh cut too, yeah. Decent thigh cut. Thigh swivel, whatever you want to call it there. Works good on both sides. Nothing wrong there. Double jointed knee. Pretty chunky. It's been a while since I did that song, but shout out to Cliffs of Dover there. Been a while since I did that. Seriously, I don't remember the last time I did that, to be honest with you. He does have the ball hinge ankles, which aren't too loose. They are the sculpted ones, which I'm not a fan of because they have been loose, but they do work fine. And his toe joints are not the tightest things ever, but they also are not the loosest. So, there you go. There is concept or prototype or whatever you want to call it, Spawn. I'm happy to have this in my collection. Is it My favorite Spawn figure ever? No. Is it going to win Figure of the Year? Probably not. I don't honestly know if a Spawn figure will be eligible for Figure of the Year, because I don't know if they're making any, other than this guy, I guess. So, maybe he'll make it just by default, because of the way I do my lists, but for now, if they make a better Spawn, hell, even reissue the Batman 2-pack Spawn, that could probably crack my top figures 2024, but I am very happy to have the original concept Spawn in my Spawn collection. Being a big Spawn fan, that's a big deal for me, you know? And even if it ain't perfect, it's still decent. It's not a terrible buck. That said, let's move on to the Todd Father. He's got the same hockey puck display stand we're used to seeing with all McFarlane Toys releases. Again, I think it's the same as the Spawn there, but look at that shit-eating grin on that slime motherfucker's face. Look at that. I think it looks like him. I don't know. I've seen worse from the early MCU Marvel Legends days, and no, speaking of which, I do not have my Stan Lee handy, but having this guy in hand now, and also having that Marvel Legends Stan Lee from, I think it was the first Avengers movie? I don't know, he came with the chessboard and shit. I do kind of want that Jack Kirby figure that NECA's doing for that Eastman and Laird Turtles line. It was part of that Target Haulathon insanity bullshit mess. Not as bad as Walmart CollectorCon, mind you, but still a hassle, to say the very least. But I like this figure. I think this figure's pretty fun. You could do a lot of funny shit with this guy. Is it a bussin' figure? Probably not. I would say that this guy is more bussin' than this guy, but this guy's just a dude. This guy's a superhero that could kick the shit out of you. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. As far as Toddy Mac's articulation goes, his head is on a double ball peg. Gets a lot of range, too, so you can have him be like, come on, guys, it's Todd McFarlane. That said, I like the head sculpt with the hat. That's probably how I would always display him. But I wish we got 90s mullet Todd McFarlane from the old Spawn Wave 1 commercial. That shit has me dying every time I see it. Nice try, guys. It's the most cringiest and hilarious commercial I've ever seen for figures ever, I think. But either way, the shoulders go out to the side. They do have that rotator cap. He's got a lot of range, too, for just a dude. Not a lot of hindrances going on here. Nice hidden bicep swivel right in the sleeve there. Makes a lot of sense. Double jointed elbow. Not too gappy there. I want to say this body buck is from the waist down. I think it's John Constantine. I think the feet are new. The head's obviously new. The lanyard's new. But I think up here, from the waist up, is from the Cyberpunk line. I don't know the character, but it's one of those guys. So take that as you will. He does have ball hinge wrists that do work fine. So that's all fine and dandy. He's got a rock solid freaking torso on him. Holy shit. Really tight there. He can crunch. Wow, he can crunch for quite a bit. More so than Spawn could. So I just wasn't pushing it, but he can crunch back too. How is Todd like the more articulated figure here? That's kind of hilarious. That said, Todd is a pretty fit dude. There's a really good documentary of the Todd Father here on the YouTubes. If I could find it, I'll put a link to it in the description below. If you got like a 40 minutes to an hour to kill, it's worth a watch. I watched it once. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm also a fan of his, so maybe that's why. But he does have a waist twist. Again, very tight there. Hips kick out to the side. Back down, forward, and back. Pretty hindered there, but it is Todd McFarlane. He's got a little thigh cut there. On that side, and more so on the other side, but it's fine. It works. Double knee. Kind of chunky on the knee. Very chunky. Look at that. Got 2 for 1. 2 for 1. Don't expect it again. And then we got the ball hinge feet. It's got the hinge there, rotation, rocker, and the toe joint. And I'm probably going to leave him with the bare feet because I think that's kind of funny. And again, I might want to use those shoes on my John Constantine. I'll just have to heat up his feet to pop them off. But he does have a little wristwatch here, which is a separate piece, but it doesn't really seem to want to slide up the arm or anything. So there you go. There is good old Toddy Mac. I'm probably going to display him with the microphone. He holds that the best. The sketch pad and the hand with the pencil in it is awesome. I like that he comes with that. He is an artist after all. It just makes sense. But he doesn't hold that sketch pad very well. Doesn't really have a hand that works with it that great. So we'll just put these two here. Put him over there. And we'll take a look at how these guys compare to the gold standard of Spawn figures, at least to me. Here is the Batman v Spawn 2-pack Spawn, who is a big Mahunga Halo compared to these two. Holy shit. But you can see that this Spawn just freaking dwarfs the new one. And dwarfs Todd McFarlane. So if you're going to put Todd next to a Spawn, this guy right here. That said, this review would not be complete. You didn't get him fuck out of here. He's been an attention whore lately, this past week. He's been in almost every video, except maybe the ones about the Mega Figs, because does that really matter? He's going to be smaller. Okay, spoiler alert, he's smaller than Mega Figs, though he is very big. Has a very nice presence. Let's bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legions by the Mandibulis. Which, you know, say what you will about Todd McFarlane, but we wouldn't have Four Horsemen without him. You know? So there is Brother Mandibulis. There. It's kind of off screen because of that crazy cape of Spawns, but nevertheless, here's the infamous 11 Spawn, which is probably the other gold standard for Spawns. Let me zoom out just a smidge. There we go. I think the only thing cut off is Mandibulus' weapon. Yeah, that's about it. So, you know, this Spawn, if you're not into this look, this is probably an easy pass, but me being a huge Spawn fan and this being the only way to get this concept and or prototype version of the character, I'm all for it. I think it's awesome. I think this was well worth the price. And compared to the Batman v Spawn 2-pack, I think it's a little bit better of a deal. You get more accessories, more useful accessories, I should say. And I think they did a pretty solid job on both figures. The anatomy's good. The joints are tight enough. You know, my Spawn, I had to do a little bit of heating and popping and whatnot to get him where he is. But as long as I don't gotta add anything to fix a loose joint, I can usually let bygones be bygones. Water under the bridge, as they say. So, with that being said, I think it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and if you are a big Spawn fan or a fan of the good old Todd Father himself, like yours truly, and want to pick up something that helps commemorate the 30th anniversary of McFarlane Toys, then this 2-pack is your best bet. Because the only other offering from the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys that I think is comparable to this 2-pack here is the Batman v Spawn 2-pack from DC Multiverse. And if you remember my review of that way back when, you know that I thought that the Batman in that very 2-pack was straight up ass. So the fact that this 2-pack is as good as I think it is, quote unquote, think it is a very welcomed and pleasant and appreciated surprise, because I thoroughly enjoy this 2-pack. Whether you are a fan of Todd McFarlane or not, there is no denying that we wouldn't be where we are today in both the toy industry and the comic book industry if it wasn't for him. So, salute to him. Whether you approve of that or not, I really don't fucking care, because this is my channel, you son of a bitch. So with that being said, till next time, I'll catch you guys later.